Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Zmore, the dad in DPS, and we are back with another video. Now today it's another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Script. I do have a chest infection / sore throat, so I am a little bit raspy and not quite right. I've recorded another video today, and yeah, it's not the best way to be doing it, but I want to get you guys the content, and yeah. I'm willing to suffer a little bit to do it. So before we get into the real video, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And help with my misery. Today's weapon is an iron deficiency. Now, as you've probably guessed, this is the weapon from the last video that was the top of the litter in terms of picks. It is a vampire's bullets explode for area damage, 25% less Vats action point cost, 10mm submachine gun. I screwed it up again somehow. 10mm submachine gun. Yeah, finally, there. That. So we're going to test it out on our rifle build and see how well it does. Contrary to popular belief by some people, this is not a handgun. This is 100% considered a rifle. So we will see how well it can do and how well it'll heal me. I expect it's going to do fairly well because it fires quite fast, reloads quite fast. In general, I've never really used these guns, but we'll get to see how well they do. Anyway, let's get on with testing. So, this gun, now, in terms of damage, each shot isn't exactly the most ridiculous amount. However, as you can see with these ghouls, it is going through them like a hot knife through butter. The biggest problem I have seen so far, however, when using it, and it's difficult to see when using on enemies that die so quickly, is that you go through AP like hell. And that's even with the 25 reduced cost. So let's show you with the robots. It's basically using up the majority of my AP just killing one of them. Now, I've got Grim Reaper's Sprint equipped for this very situation. And when it activates, it's perfect. But when it doesn't, yeah, you're gonna run into problems pretty quickly. Don't get me wrong, if you aim the gun normally and stagger your shots, yeah, you're gonna be able to kill things relatively easily and relatively quickly if they don't go behind cover suddenly. But yeah, it's a gun that I think Vats definitely does a lot of damage. But it also is going to not do a lot of damage. It's a case that it's very unpredictable in that sense, because I'm kind of primarily relying on Grim Reaper Sprint to refresh my AP, so I kind of have to basically watch what I'm doing, and it's a very much wait and see weapon, but at the same time it's doing some work, it's doing damage. It's not a bad weapon in terms of damage, and it's a case of I have to swap between firing in Vats and then firing where the hell are you? Firing Vats and then firing outside of Vats. Against a bigger enemy, I think that's where the real issue is going to lie, is if you can't kill off the big fella, I'm going to have to basically shoot blind almost, is the way to put it. If this was a quad weapon, god, you'd run out of AP before you've even run out of ammo. But against like ghouls here, yeah, it completely slaps. Against small enemies, it's just gonna like move between them relatively easily. But again, to use in Vats, you're heavily relying on Grim Reaper Sprint. I can only imagine how bad it is on one that doesn't have the 25% reduced VAT action cost. So this is my usual kind of commando build that I've been using for a while. I'm not going to go too much into the exact commando perks and all that kind of thing, but I'll just go into the main things. You've got expert commando, master commando, all that kind of thing, tank killer for anti-armor, demolition expert for explosive damage, nerd rage for obvious reasons, adrenaline for extra damage, action girl because I need more blooming points, or action boy if you're playing a male character. Covert operative's just there because it's part of the build. But here's the thing that you need if you're going to try and use this thing with Vats. Grim Reaper sprint. Every time you get a kill, 30% chance to restore all action points. Now I could swap out certain of these for things like critical savvy, better criticals. There's any number of things that I could use with it. There's also like that one that makes you reload when you run a clip. There's loads of different things, but that's what I'm using at the moment. Now, as usual, we are back with Jeff. Let's see how this destroys his face. So, we have pretty much ran out of Vats energy right off the bat. Don't know why I said Vats energy. AP. He is glitching the hell out, and he is getting close up. However, you saw that hit there. He can't do jack crap to me. And then once we've got AP back, we can just annihilate him. That took a lot of rounds, but at the same time, he went down fairly easily. And that hit he did on me regenerated pretty quickly. So, in terms of what the gun's meant to do, it's definitely doing its job. Now, like any weapon, I like to use it in daily ops. Unfortunately, as usual as it seems to be with the channel, is anytime I blooming try and test a weapon, it's melee day. So yeah, not great. But at the same time, it's killing enemies relatively quickly, relatively easily, and being 10mm ammo, it is incredibly abundant. So I'm not having any real issues, it's just the type of day it is. And the gun works well in and out of Vats. It's just a case of if you are using it out of Vats, you need to stagger your shots to deal with the recoil. But other than that, it's a relatively effective weapon. So I would definitely recommend it for daily ops. But we'll move on to the big fella in just a moment. Alright, so, big fella incoming. Now, the advantage this weapon has isn't so much in, obviously, damage or all those kind of things. It is the fact that I am able to just wire into an enemy and, for the most part, survive. Unfortunately, in some cases, due to my build, I get completely wrecked by fiery explosions. But that's kind of par for the course in the in Fallout when you're on a bloody build. But, as you can see, if I manage to get the fire off in time, and I'm not reloading, or there's not another enemy there, I'm able to survive quite significantly. And I'm not doing bad damage. My son needs a pee. So yeah, it's quite a decent weapon. But if you just get hit by a big attack, you are going to go down, unfortunately. So that was today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Now, today's weapon, it's not the best. Certainly not against big enemies anyway. But against smaller enemies, yeah, it will do damage, and it will do it relatively good. The recoil is completely manageable if you just burst fire the gun. But the amount of AP it uses in such a rate is just insane. So, yeah, I think I need to have more action point refresh speed armor and things like that to really utilize it properly. But overall, it'll do well against like ghouls, super mutants, just smaller enemies. But against your bigger things, it's not really worth using personally. I would rather go for my railway rifle fixers and handmaids, those kind of things, because they will absolutely push the crap into anything else. But with that, I'll leave you, and we'll catch you next time in the Wasteland. And sorry about the weird raspy voice.